Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I've got another batch of Disney park news, announcements, and even a rumor for you today. And this entire news roundup spans both coasts, Disney World and Disneyland, and involves everything from a new experience that's weeks away from its debut, new information on Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets, as well as an update on Disney's Tropical America's Land coming to Animal Kingdom, and so much more. So you are watching Probably a Disney, and let's get into it. So I'm going to start today with what you probably saw in the thumbnail for this video, and that's whether Rogers the Musical is coming back to Disney California Adventure. In case you're unaware, Disney debuted Rogers the Musical at Disney California Adventure's Hyperion Theater in June of 2023. This show was inspired by the fictional, kinda Hamilton-esque Broadway musical that Marvel Studios featured in Hawkeye for Disney Plus, and in the background of several movies and Disney Plus shows, and which retold Captain America Steve Rogers' MCU story. The show was fantastic, and it included both original music and some familiar tunes from the MCU. I actually did an interview with the show's composer, Christopher Lennertz, who is also responsible for that awesome arrangement in Disneyland's Wondrous Journeys nighttime show. I'll include a link if you want to read about Rogers the Musical songs, its MCU Easter eggs, and what could have been if you're interested. But if you were a Captain America fan, if you wanted to see more of his post-Avengers Endgame story, or you just appreciate live entertainment at a Disney park, this show was a huge win. And made even better by the fact that the Hyperion Theater sits next to Avengers Campus, which made this in-universe show a perfect fit and a bit of an extension of that land. But after the show ended its run in August of 2023, which everyone was kind of puzzled by, the theater has been empty, with some speculating that since it sits next to the back lot, a park space in DCA that has been on borrowed time for years, maybe it was slated for removal. Well, fast forward to the past few weeks when Disney confirmed DCA's Pandora, the World of Avatar, will in fact be replacing the backlot and closing Monsters, Inc. Mike and Sully to the Rescue in early 2026. But at the time, there was no news about the Hyperion. In recent days, however, that has kind of changed, as there is a rumor suggesting the Hyperion will definitely survive the Avatar construction next door, and it's going to open its doors once more for a show, with one possibility being the return of Rogers the Musical. And this report comes from Fresh Baked Disney, and one reason I put a lot of confidence in it is because Fresh Baked was right about Rogers the Musical coming in the first place. So, while we'll have to wait and see if this proves true, if it is Rogers the Musical, I think we could hear something around the 4th of July, since this is a Captain America themed show, and it debuted in 2023 in the lead up to the 4th. Now let's switch over to Walt Disney World to talk about multiple new projects, including the anticipated debut of the Magic Kingdom's Starlight Dream the Night Away nighttime parade. Disney recently announced that when this parade premieres on July 20th, it's going to run twice per night at 9 p.m. and then again at 11 p.m. with Happily Ever After fireworks taking place in between at 10 p.m. So we're talking nighttime entertainment on the hour for 3 hours straight every night leading up to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. But hang on, it gets better than that. The Starlight Parade route is going to begin on Main Street USA and then end in Frontierland instead of the other way around. And this is expected to greatly help with the overall crowd flow. So how guests experience the Magic Kingdom after dark is all about to change, and it should make getting around the park easier during these nighttime spectaculars. And maybe having 2 parade runs coupled with the fireworks will help decrease some wait times in the evening hours as well. Next up, we gotta talk about Animal Kingdom's Tropical America's Land, which is in the process of replacing Dinoland USA. After announcing the Boneyard will be closing on September 1st and significantly earlier than anticipated, a new Disney press release offered an updated description of what guests can expect at Tropical Americas, with Disney describing the new land as being inspired by lush landscapes, rich cultures, and extraordinary wildlife of Central and South America. And this is important because ever since this land was announced, some have criticized the project for not having a focus on animals or having any animal enclosures or trails. From what we now know, the latter appears to be true, but I think Disney is actively communicating that this land isn't just about Encanto or Indiana Jones, but one of the main threads running through the land will be wildlife from this part of the world, just not in the form of animal enclosures or trails. So again, this seems to be Disney trying to communicate a message here and to calm some fan fears. I think further details about this are pretty much a given for Destination D23. In fact, given the land's progress, which I'm still hoping is ahead of schedule, that's what it looks like anyway, but I think this is a project we will potentially hear the most about in August. Now let's get to what Muppet fans have been waiting for, and that is new information about Hollywood Studios' Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets. Now, the morning of the closure of Muppet Vision 3D in Muppets Courtyard, Disney announced that the Muppets overlay of Rock and Roller Coaster would be opening sometime in 2026. While we haven't heard anything more specific about that opening date, Disney did just issue a new press release about the ride, and it contains a description we haven't heard before. And I quote, "Get ready to rock Muppet style. In 2026, the Muppets will take over Rock and Roller Coaster at Disney's Hollywood Studios in a fast-paced, music-filled adventure with rock tune remixes, backstage chaos, and plenty of laughs." Now, if you recall, Disney's previous descriptions for this ride referenced a music festival and that the Muppets would be teaming up with music's biggest stars, and I've expressed my concerns about this because, one, I don't think Muppet fans are wanting the Muppets to have to share the spotlight. The Muppets should be the star of their own attraction. And two, a focus on music's biggest stars could easily date this attraction or cause issues down the road if a certain star were to become problematic. So I am encouraged to hear this updated description because rock tune remixes sounds like the Electric Mayhem and the Muppets will in fact be putting their spin on well-known songs and may not necessarily be sharing the spotlight with musical artists. Also, that reference to backstage chaos, I'm thinking that has to be a wink and a nod to what they're doing with the pre-show. Disney picks their words very carefully, and I think this was a clue that the pre-show will be a critical component to the narrative, as it should be, but it's even more important since this may be the only part of the attraction where we get to see the Muppets in action. Furthermore, it suggests the pre-show will reflect the classic Muppets trope of everything going wrong behind the scenes and ahead of a show. So they are staying true to the traditional Muppet formula here. As for that mention of plenty of laughs, that may seem obvious since this is the Muppets we're talking about, but I think it's an important inclusion because it signals a tone shift between the Rock and Roller Coaster we know now and this new upcoming version. While the coaster will still be a thrill ride, that's not going to change. It is going to be more comical, more lighthearted, and packed with gags and jokes than it is now. Does this new description sound promising to you? Do you think this shift is a good sign? And are you looking more forward to Rock and Roller Coaster with the Muppets than you were before? Let me know in the comments because the stakes are very high with this attraction. Disney needs to justify the closure of Vision 3D, and they need to win over a tough crowd, so I'd like to hear your thoughts. Now, to finish up this roundup of news, we're going to briefly talk about Universal Orlando's Epic Universe because there is both rumors and evidence to suggest this park is already looking to expand. And this means Orlando's theme park building wars are only just getting started. First of all, signs have already appeared inside Epic Universe teasing the opening of new restaurants in 2026, as several of these projects kind of fell off the table ahead of the park's opening. But now Universal creatives are looking to complete them, meaning Epic Universe guests will have more to see and eat next year. But in addition to that, Orlando Park Stop reported in recent days that Universal filed new permits hinting at expansion, with all eyes on that expansion pad that sits between Super Nintendo World and the park's entrance. And of course, there have been rumors since before the park even opened about other areas and attractions that Universal creatives wanted, such as Zelda, Pokemon, and with probably the most well-known being a creature from the Black Lagoon boat ride for Dark Universe. And while I can't say with confidence just what Epic Universe is cooking up, I am confident that expansions are in the works and will happen. Not only did NBC and Comcast just receive more money from Disney for the full buyout of Hulu, but if Epic Universe has a weakness, it's its somewhat limited roster of rides. So watch this space, as we're likely to have Disney and Universal breaking ground and going vertical with new projects in the coming months. And honestly, I think that's a really good thing for Disney fans, as it's likely to challenge Disney to keep to their deadlines and speed up construction. So there you have it. That is the news from just the past few days, but I'm glad to say that I think all of this info is encouraging. And while I know certain Disney World attractions in spaces will be going away here soon, and yes, I'm referring to the Rivers of America, at least what's in the works is sounding like it's on the right track. Please do let me know if you feel the same, and share your thoughts and opinions on the confirmed 2 runs per night for Starlight Dream the Night Away Parade, to the potential for Rogers the Musical to return to DCA. By the way, if it's not Rogers the Musical, what show would you like to see at the Hyperion and why? And what would you like Universal Orlando to add to Epic Universe if expansion is in fact underway? Do remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more Disney park news and analysis. But regardless, I so appreciate you taking the time to watch, and I hope you have a magical day.